What's the deal?
Here's the deal. What have you been up to, Michael?
Trying different patisseries and bakeries all over SF.
Nice.
Yes. Trying to find the right macaron that I remembered when I tried in Seattle.
Macaron or macaroon?
The one was only one O, I think.
The one O, the French kind.
Yes, the French
kind.
kind. Yeah. And I tried beef patisserie. I tried 165, I think, in Union Square.
Okay.
But those were okay until I tried the one. They don't really have a physical store. They do it online. But it's called Macarons Dire More.
Oh.
Yeah. It's really good. They do everything natural ingredient, non-GMO, no food coloring, no extracts.
Nice.
Yeah. But they don't have a physical store, but they do deliver within San Francisco County, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have some information that you could provide to our listeners?
Yeah, I'll put a handle in the description. I'll put a link to their Instagram. I think they have TikTok as well.
Oh,
yeah.
Awesome. And what's your favorite kind? Which one do you recommend?
I recommend raspberry. Definitely. That's
raspberry.
Like a must try. It looks beautiful. It tastes good. And my other favorite was ube. Yeah, it's a different flavor. You just don't get it anywhere else.
In the Philippines.
Yeah, but like basically Asia, we have a lot of desserts with that flavor. But a ube macaron, that's just,
Chef's kiss.
definitely.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. What about you? What have you been up to?
Well, I've been eating macaroons because it has been Passover also, which this year aligned with Easter. So we've been doing some Passover things, a couple of film festivals. I went to a really good one. The Arab Film Festival had a showing of a movie which was called Salt of the Sea, a really great movie at the Roxy Theater about a Palestinian woman born and raised in Brooklyn. Her family had come from Jaffa through Lebanon, and she goes back. It was really fascinating, really well done, good, highly recommend. And there's a couple of good film festivals coming up, I think, this week too. One of them is the International Oceans Film Festival. That's a short one, only through this weekend, and there's some, amazing movies. There's one on the deep sea that is showing tomorrow, Thursday, I think, evening at Fort Mason. And then SF Film Festival also starts this week, I believe, also, and runs for maybe a week or 10 days. So definitely going to check out some of those.
That sounds great. I was in film clubs in high school.
Nice.
Directing movies and things. Yeah.
Nice. Good. Well, there's a whole bunch for you to check out.
Definitely. Well, I think there's also a art market in Fort Mason the week after that, like in the 22nd.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Maybe we can go see that as well.
Cool. Let's do it.
What about the market, though? That's what the people want to hear.
The market. Well, how is the market? I would say that the market is a mixed bag. It is, of course, depends on price point, depends on specific location, depends on the product. But, it's mixed. I had a listing where a buyer made a good early offer and the seller countered on some basic terms. The buyer got spooked and went away. And we're hearing that is not so uncommon. A lot of buyers are reading the news. They're seeing that things are down, a lot of doom and gloom stories, which is not exactly the case. Like one of those examples is that according to the papers and according to real statistics, our listings are down by 40%. But really, they're baselining that off of last year, which was an unusually big year in terms of volume. Typically 6,000 properties trade in San Francisco in a given year, and last year was 7,500. So that is not a good baseline. Definitely inventory is down, but it's down more like 15 to 20% instead of 40%. We've been also hearing, I think, that inflation numbers are coming down. So that's a good sign for the economy. I think it looks likely that the Fed is going to make at least one more interest rate adjustment upward. So we'll see that probably in May, but it seems like things are starting to level out a bit. From what we're hearing, what are you seeing on your side?
Well, I've been hosting open houses regularly, as you know. There are a lot of traffic in all the open houses since, you know, the weather finally cleared up. People are out and about. They want to see houses, but the actual people who, you know, put in an offer are relatively lower. But which is not a bad thing for buyers. It's lower, like less competition for you. You know, if you really like a house, you actually have time to think about it and then to decide whether you want to buy it or not. And also I heard about the Cow Dream program for 20%
Right.
down.
Oh, yes. Good.
They ran out of
Yes.
money.
Right. Yes. Talk more about that.
Yeah, so they plan to have enough money for everyone in the program to have down payments for 6 to 9 months, but it ran out of money in 6 to 9 days.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of buyers out there just waiting for this money. People are waiting for help from the government to help them to pull the trigger.
For the down payment assistance. Yeah, I mean, yeah, totally. So that's what says to me is that there are a lot of people who want to be homeowners. And if we can provide some kind of support for them to do it, then they'll go through the hoops, they'll go through the steps, they'll do all the things, as long as there's some support for the down payment.
Yeah, definitely. And of course, there are people who also uses other methods to help them with purchasing a house, like 3% down, other programs. And I think people are also using a 5-year, 10-year loan to just get into the property and then refinance in the future when the rates are lower.
Definitely. I'm seeing that with a lot of my clients too, that, you know, it's like you read the paper, the sky is falling, interest rates are so high. First of all, interest rates are not that high. Historically, interest rates have been a lot higher than they are now, but also that there are ways to still do it. To, like you said, get a 5 or a 10-year loan with the idea that you can refinance sooner than later and get your payments down. You're also going to be maybe paying less for a house than you would have been. So there's a lot of ways to look at these things.
Yeah. Well, of course, there's always a lot of resources for buyers. Right now, you know, people are realizing there are a lot of things that they can use, resources they can use to help them. What about the sellers? What do you think they should do in this period of time?
It's a good question. Like, so why is inventory down, I think, is one of the questions. Well, I think what I'm seeing is that sellers are sitting on the sidelines, that they're also afraid to pull the trigger. That maybe some folks are in really low interest rate situations that they're just going to ride out. That maybe they'll make their home work for a while. That investment properties they're just holding on to. So people are holding their properties closer and not putting them on the market, also because there's unknown from that side. Who is selling right now? Folks who are relocating. Of course, that's always a reason. Folks who are downsizing. We're seeing some downsizers, though some downsizers are also still holding on to their properties because they have low interest rates, and so those houses are not freeing up and inventory remains low. Some upsizing, if your family size is increasing, life cycle changes, so you're having kids, you are getting married, you're getting divorced, death in the family. These type of things are also always going to be motivators for people to sell. Yeah.
And also maybe different lifestyles, people changing their lifestyles.
Yes.
Move from like a single family home to a condo, or a condo to a single family home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So let's say your owner decided to sell your house. What should you start with?
Right. It's a good question. Where does this all begin? How does it work? The first place to start is to get an agent or a broker that's a good fit. And what is a good fit? Yeah, that's right. Call us. What's a good fit? Good communication, that they understand your needs and resources, that you work through a strategic plan and a timeline that works, that is effective, that as market dynamics and as your needs and resources change, that they adjust, that they're present. And for me, this is like the fundamental, basic core value of mine is also that they're committed to telling you the truth, even if it might not be what you want to hear.
Yeah, definitely. And what do you think about after that, after you decide the agent?
Yeah, so once you sort out who you want to work with and make sure it's a good fit on both sides, that the first thing is to sign a listing agreement. So that will contain the basic terms of the listing, the length, the price, the commission, the title information, things like that. And once that's signed, then we can start ordering things that are necessary, title documents, disclosure information. And let's talk about a little bit about disclosures.
Yeah, disclosure is definitely very important. You have to be transparent of what your property offers, what's in the property.
Yes.
And based on disclosure, it kind of reduces your liability during the process.
Yes.
The more thorough, the better. And also it helps with the selling process. When a buyer comes to your property and they ask, oh, do you have any disclosures about your property? And say, yes, we have everything ready for you. You can check it anytime. Then they'll be more prompt to put in an offer. They'll feel
more comfortable.
Yeah, more comfortable. They feel safer. And in the disclosure, you have to have a thing that, not have to, but we always recommend to have a property inspection to know the physical conditions of your property. Or sometimes we have the lateral sewer inspections done, foundation inspections done for the property. And these are done in advance of the listing goes live.
Right, so I will just add one caveat here that this is a custom practice in San Francisco that we provide the disclosures in general up front on a listing. Now, other areas do this differently, but the San Francisco way is to have the disclosures, T's crossed, I's dotted, put a packet together that we then provide to buyers in advance so that they're in advance of making an offer, that they're aware of the condition of the property, they're aware of the seller's disclosures related to the condition or related to any improvements or related to any neighborhood issues that they're aware of, that they have the inspection, so that they're going in with their eyes open to make a transaction cleaner once it's ratified.
Yeah, it's a little bit different than condos and single-family homes, because condos, you have extra documents like HOA documents, right?
Right. So like HOA documents would show the health of a condo typically. So that is going to show the budget, the component parts, the monthly dues, what those cover, how they're paid. And condos and TICs as well, co-ops, they all work differently. So oftentimes we'll see an informal arrangement in smaller buildings. So in a 2 to 4 unit building that are owner occupied, sometimes they're run by the owners, and so it'll be a much more informal arrangement. Maybe they don't have a reserve account. Maybe they only have an operational account. Whereas in a larger complex, you're typically going to see an outside manager, and then that will be who runs the association along with a board. And it's important to be able to review those documents to know the health of the association. Are there any intended or upcoming special assessments? Things like that will be in the condo disclosures.
That's really good to know for first-time sellers. They want to prepare anything.
Exactly.
They know what to prepare.
Right, and we'll help, of course, with that too, so that we'll go through and order those documents and go through any questions in advance that we may have related to the HOA, so that we can then, again, go ahead and provide them to any prospective buyers. And this one always comes up. What do you think? What do we think about staging?
Well, staging is about the physical presentation of your property. The other paperworks you can see online, but when you walk into a property, stagings is what you see.
Right.
And it's very important for you to represent your property in the right way for the demographic, for the target buyers that you're trying to get. So if you're selling a bachelor pad or if you're selling a family home that has kids, you have to stage it in the right way for people to connect.
Yeah, that's a really good point, that it's important for us to think about who is the target demographic and stage the home to them. For me, we work with a lot of different stagers, all capable, different price points, depending on who and where our target demographic is and what property we're working with, like what the look should be. There's mid-century, there's traditional, there's transitional, there's all different kinds of styles. And it's really important, I guess we could say, not all staging is created equal. And it really depends on the product as to the right staging.
Yeah, but a good staging is always beneficial. It's definitely a good investment.
Definitely.
And let's see some good and bad examples.
Okay,
yeah?
let's do it.
I found some really bad ones online, and it's just horrible that you don't want to do that in your listing. Alright, the first one, like just why? Like just, I don't know the reason why we have all the mannequins in the house.
Mannequins in staging.
Yeah, y'all need real people in your house, no fake person. And
not in your photos.
Definitely. And this one,
speaks for itself.
Yeah, it's just not cohesive.
Is that appealing to you? Would you look at this photo and say, oh, I have to go see that?
Like, no. Are you outside? Are you in the kitchen? Are you baking? Are you watching TV? What are you doing? And that's not even the worst. Look at this one.
This is not the type of multi-purpose space that we like to highlight.
It's how lovely to have an office in your bathroom.
Right.
Right, just jump in the shower with your laptop. Okay. But there are good ones if you hire the right people. Like, say this. It's very important to bring out the structure of the property. It gives people the imagination they want. Like, how are they going to live in here? Like, this living room is just perfect to me, I think.
Yeah, it goes with the style. It's nice and neutral. It's appealing. It's open. It highlights the features of the property. This is a good example.
Yeah. And then we have an example of our past listing.
Yeah, this was a listing in Nopa, and this was a rectangular shaped living room. And I really liked the way the staging came out on this because it enhanced the high ceilings, the good details, the light fixture with the medallions around it, the fireplace, and some pops of color and volume. So this was really a nice staging of a fairly small room.
Mm-hmm. So this one is actually my favorite. I just like that. I just love the gallery look in the dining room. And it goes to the long table. And I think he chose the stagers for them.
Yeah, this was a recent listing in The Haight. And yes, I think that they did a really great job balancing the warmth and the period quality of the paneling and of the wood. And then also with the modernity of the room and of the lifestyle that people like to live now. So I also thought that this was really a lovely, lovely staging job.
I think, time again for our dad jokes. And I'll let you start.
Okay. All right, first dad joke. What kind of building weighs the least? A lighthouse. Your turn.
My turn? Okay, so there's a town that sells houses only cats can afford. Why? Because you need 9 lives to pay it off. It's
okay. All right, I have one more. Okay, so Einstein dies and goes to heaven, and he asks the first person he sees, "What's your IQ?" The person replies, 250, and Einstein says, "Oh, that's great. We can talk about metaphysics." The next person he runs into, he asks the same question. The person says, "My IQ is 150. "Wonderful," says Einstein. "We can talk about the events of the day." He comes across a third person and once again asks their IQ. The person answers 45. Einstein says, "Okay, so where do you think the real estate market is going?" Pundits.
Okay, I have another one. How does a dual agent sleep at night?
Dual agent sleep at night. How?
He lies on this side, and then he lies on the other side.
Oh!
Yeah, I'm sorry to the dual agents out there, but it's a good joke. Until next time.
Bye.